Good afternoon and welcome to our online show today. For those who don't know me, I am Federica Giachetti, President of Morgan Technica, and I'm talking to you today from our showroom in our head office in Adro, Italy, what we call Morgan 1. As some of you may remember, we started this type of communication during the pandemic when there was no possibility to travel, no exhibition, no meetings, and that was the only way we found to communicate with our partners and distributors and customers and share with all of you what we were doing here. We believe that even though, thanks God, this time has now gone and we are free to travel, to meet, to have exhibition, but we believe that this is still a good way to communicate and share in real time what we are doing. Today, we are here to present two very special pieces of news from our R&D departments. The first one we will start with is our new 2D CAD solution, especially the 2Design pattern designing module, together with the 2Capture and 2Tetrix. Later, we will continue with the presentation of the multiply cutter, the real superstar of the day, and the name is Rex. Before I let Alessia take you to a general overview presentation of the software, I would like to spend a few words explaining how we made this project, what was our goal during doing this project. We wanted, first of all, to have the full control of the software. So this software, all the packages are completely made in Morgan. We are so proud of that. I think Gianmario Bianchetti and his team from the R&D software department made an incredible job, because in just a short period of time, they made a very, very strong and powerful system. You will see it in a few minutes. One of the goals was to make it user-friendly. I know everybody says their own software is user-friendly, but this is for real. You will see, Alessia will show you very minimal and neat user interface in order to make the new user immediately comfortable, also to reduce the learning process and also help somehow the self-learning of the software. This is also very important. We know that the majority of the customer we are going to talk to, they are already using a CAD system. So in order to convince them to shift, to move to a new software, we must make this process less painful as possible. So to make an easy learning, it's a real important goal. Also, we want this software to be suitable for professional with very high demands, but also for beginners. And this is very important. We want to create a new generation of CAD users growing up with us. So for beginners, we develop a very special feature that is called sample basis. It's a library of basic blocks that comes together with the software, complementary basis. So for those who don't have a library of old models, who don't have an experience, they can start playing with these models, they can start making experience and practicing until they are ready to create their own models. For professionals who already have their history behind, we develop another system that we call, another functionality that we call My Basis. This is a library where each user, each advanced user, can store his own library with their own set fitting and use as a reference for every new design that they create. And they can decide whether to keep a link active between the newly created model and this original basis. So in case they need to apply massive modification, massive alteration to all the models belonging to the original base, they can do it with one click. Okay, these and many other features that Alessia will show you in a minute makes us very, very proud of this product. So I hope you will enjoy the presentation. Alessia, it's your turn.
Hello to everyone. I'm Alessia. So I'm glad to be presenting 2Design and all of the new features that we have for the entire 2D CAD program package. So as Federica anticipated, today we will be seeing 2Capture, 2Design, and Tetrix. So 2Capture is for pattern digitization, and 2Design is for pattern editing and model creation, and 2Tetrix is for nesting. So I want to anticipate if you guys have any questions, we have a link in the down below description where you can go ahead and start writing your questions. We will then answer them at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to be starting from 2Capture. So what I want to show you behind me right here is a frame. This is the 2Capture frame that we have in our showroom. To digitize these pieces, I have a t-shirt right here. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture with my cell phone. From here, I created a folder that links my cell phone with my computer. So I can go ahead and directly import our picture. So from here, the program goes ahead and analyzes the image. It finds the frame. And without any calibration needed, I can go ahead and confirm. And you can see how it digitized my piece, recognizing, for example, notches that we have right here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see right here we already have some notches. I can go ahead and modify the properties of this piece. So if I click on my piece properties table, I can see the fabric. I can change that. I can change the name of my piece. For example, I can see here from the preview that is a back piece. So I'm going to write it right here. Okay, I can give quantities, for example, left and right for sleeves. And you can see 1 and 1, and I can add piece notes if I want to. Once I have this, again, we can zoom in and out to check if everything has been detected correctly. We can also increase or decrease the contrast between the background and our piece to check if everything that's part of this model has been digitized. I can select points and move them around and make small modifications with the image on the bottom. So once I've digitized all my patterns, added the necessary modifications, I can export this file as a DXF, which is the format that communicates with all CAD systems. This is very important because you can share files with clients or customers that use also other CAD systems, or integrate them to your already existing softwares. The other option is to export as a 2DY file, which is Morgan's native file format. So talking about the 2DY, I'm going to start by showing you 2Design. So from here, we can see I'm on the home screen right here. This is where I can go ahead and import pieces or models, either, again, as a 2DY file, which is Morgan's native format, or as a DXF. Again, this is good if you're coming also from other CAD systems. We can import DXF files and 2Design. Other ways that we can start working is either with recent files. If I've worked on something recently, we have a preview right here on the bottom with everything. We have our sample bases, which are the bases that Federico was talking about before. Here we have a 3D preview of what the full model will look like once it's sewn together, and the preview of all the 2D pieces that can be then modified and personalized. This is great for beginners or someone that's never really used a CAD system. You can start working and creating your own models from pre-existing bases. For more advanced customers or users, we can go ahead and create a MyBase library. This is a library where you can save your most used files. From here, you can copy pieces or the entire models to create new files. So what I'm going to do today, you can see here, this is the digitized pieces of my previously digitized onto Capture t-shirt. So I'm going to start creating a new model by modifying this pattern. So what I'm going to do is going to select this. You can see I don't have any preview because it doesn't have any pieces. What I do have, though, if I move over here, is my technical sheet with an image of what my model will look like at the end. We can see it's a Morgan t-shirt. It has 2 different fabric types, information regarding this piece. This can also be printed out if we need it. So zoom in like this, and we have all of the information. Once I have this, I can go ahead and click on the import. This will open up the My Base link, and it'll show me all of the files that I have saved. From here, I can go ahead and select the pieces that I want. For example, I don't have a pocket, so I'm going to ignore that and only import the rest. From here, I can decide if I want to create a link between the pieces and the My Base. This allows me to make modifications in the future and have them applied to all the connected pieces. Okay, you can see right here, my model has been imported. I can go ahead and save it. And you can see right here next to the piece name, we have a little star that reminds me that these pieces are connected and imported from a My Base. Again, this link can be created and unlinked anytime we need to. So from here, as we were seeing before, we have 2 different fabrics. So I'm going to divide the top using our new function, extract. So you can see from here, I have an internal drawing line that allows me to divide my piece in different sections. Let's give it a second fabric name. Okay. And can clear this and set the second part. Fabric 3. Okay. Again, you can see in our extraction window, we have a preview of the pieces that we are about to extract. I can confirm, and then we can see our pieces. Right here, you can see how they have a different fabric color. And we can see also on the list over here, I'm going to have the name of the model, the variant name, the fabric name, and then the piece name. So I want to show you a little bit the setup of 2Design. So we have here on the left side of the screen all of our working modes. To make the software easier and more intuitive, we've decided to divide the program in different working modes. Each working mode, you can see as I switch between working modes, we have different functions and tools that all relate to that specific mode. Again, the view mode is going to be where I can apply modifications to the piece, move them around, view the piece properties. For example, I can zoom in on this piece. We can rotate it. We can flip them using the grain axis, or flip them. You can see here I flipped the piece, and the program reminds me that the piece is in a temporary position at the moment, and that I have it flipped compared to the original image. If I want to confirm this as the default position, I can click here, and you can see the color has filled up. Again, I'm going to flip it back because we need it on the other direction. Okay, perfect. So from here, I'm going to show you importing another model. I'm going to import a dress. So we can see here that at the moment I have multiple models all uploaded at the same time. And this is noticeable both by the pieces. Over on this side, we have the model name and all the pieces. We have our different working modes where I can modify and move my pieces around. Again, if I have multiple pieces uploaded at the same time, multiple models, uploaded at the same time, I can apply modifications to both of them simultaneously. So you can see that I've selected the ends, for example, moving with the arrows on my keyboard. Let me move over here. And you can see how the ends are being, I'll zoom in a little bit. So you can see both on my skirt and on my t-shirt, they're being modified at the same time, even if they're part of different models. So what we also have is the ghost function. This allows us to see a track of the previous piece after modifications. So I'm going to zoom in on specific parts. So for example, you can see I selected that specific point. Zoom out a little bit. With the ghost mode active, if I move, sorry. Oop. No, we need to. Never mind. Sorry, the touch screen. Okay. So since we're in the modify mode, I'm going to use this. Do we want to switch to the sharing of the screen so you can see details a little bit closer? Okay. I'm going to remove the t-shirt so we can focus on one model at a time. And we will see right here we have our dress. What we're very excited to show you is the new functions. We finally implemented darts, pleats, and flaring. So to activate those functions, what I'll do is, for example, let's add darts right here on this skirt. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see better. So from here, you can see that I can select which element I want to use, so darts, pleats, flares, or full dart, which is going to close a pre-existing dart. So the program, again, very intuitive, tells me step by step what I have to do. So we can see here, it wants me to select a point on the perimeter. So this is where my dart is going to start, the dart vertex, and then 2 pinpoints that are going to maintain this position. So from here, you can see already I have a preview of what our dart is going to look like once I confirm. I can either just move this around or insert a specific measurement. So for example, we can just write in here. Let's do 30 millimeters, confirm. And as soon as I click the thumbs up, the program will create a dart. Again, I'm going to go ahead and create another one on this side. So again, first point, vertex, and then my pinpoints. Again, this time I'm going to create the same one, so 30, confirm, and I'm not going to fold the dart, so you can see the difference between the two. You can see right away here, I have the two compared one to the other. What we can also do is, again, I'm going to show you the function to fold darts. So I'm going to select point 1, point 2, and confirm. And you can see how it created a closed dart. I already added seam lines that you can see here on the inside. If I go to the seam mode, we can see, for example, by selecting, I'm going to make this a little bit less intense. You can see how I have seam lines on the inside of the pieces. And I can recognize if the pieces are projected on the cut line or on the seam line by this little icon that we have right here, which is either scissors for cut line, or if I were to switch it, for example, like here, and go to the seam line, you can see how the seam allowance automatically is applied on the outside. So from here, I'm going to move over to, again, sorry, I want to show you one more thing on the seam allowance. We also have the possibility to view the seams with all of their grading. So you can see how I have all my notches and each side. And moving to the grading here as well, I have the possibility to view both the grading of the actual piece shape and the grading with the seams. And we can see this with the difference between full line and dotted line. So on gradings, I can decide to turn on and off some sizes. For example, if I want to view others a little bit more clearly, so you can see I have these. Again, it's possible to also hide or, again, show the seam allowance. it's very simple to edit the grading. We can simply just select one point, and on the bottom here, we can see all the steps it does from the sample size to the bigger and the smaller sizes. To edit the size set, we can click here on the Edit Size Set window. This is going to show all of the sizes that I have. I can add a new size, for example. Let's call this 58. Confirm. And you'll see how this gets automatically added to the existing sizes. So you can see it right here. And you can see it, I can recognize this by the color, that it matches perfectly. So from here, I'm going to move back to another model where I want to show you a couple more functions. So we're going to upload this shirt. And I'll go back to my touch screen. Okay. So right here we have a shirt model with all of its gradings. We can see we have two different fabric types. So this is going to be in blue. It's the main fabric, while we have these two pieces that are going to be going through the fusion blocks system when we cut. So what I want to do here is this specific model will be placed on and cut on a fabric that has repetitions. So I created a link in between all the pieces. And you can see when I click this function, it brings back all the pieces to the position that I linked them on. I'm going to turn off the grading so it's a little bit more clear. You can see how all the pieces were positioned. Again, I can move them around and work on them more. And every time I want to go back to see them in the actual position, I can just click this again, and it's going to bring them all back in. So from here, we're back on the view mode. This is where I can apply, for example, the piece info, so change the fabric name, the piece name, the quantities. I can preview piece dimensions, so you can see it right here. We can see the area, the perimeter, and all the information we might need also for nesting. And we also added the possibility to give nesting properties directly from 2Design. This is great because it allows you to give specific properties to models or to the selected pieces. And these will be then applied every time I create a new marker using this model, those settings already. So we have shrinkage, gaps, rotation and flip of the pieces, adjustment angles, and block contour if I want to add that. So we can see it from here. It's going to show me of the selected piece. Or if I want to, I can open my piece properties table. So this is where I have a small preview of my piece. Again, the fabric name that we can see we have two different fabrics name. The piece name, and on top here, I can activate other columns where I have all of those other settings, marker settings. So from here, I want to show you quickly our measure mode. This is where we have our measuring table. So the measure table on 2Design is a secondary page that I can have active while working also on other modes. So if I want to draw and then see the measurements, I can do that. So let me zoom in over here. I'll go so you guys can see a little bit better. Go to the measure mode. And if I select existing measurements from here, it's going to highlight directly from the model what I'm showing. So you can see, for example, right here, we have the sleeve shoulder length. And what I want to show you guys, if for example, let me select this and move this out of the way. Perfect. So if I go to modify, and I modify the length of this, again, I'm using the arrows on my keyboard, you can see how simultaneously the measurements are updated. And we can see two different rows of measurements. One is for measurements on the seam line, and one is for measurements on the cut line. So I can always compare those. The purple size is going to be our sample size, and all the other ones are the graded sizes. Again, this is also printable as a PDF format, or I can export it as a CSV file for Excel. So once we created this, I'm going to move over to Tetrix so we can nest our model. So again, you can see throughout all of our programs how the interface is very similar. Again, also for Tetrix, we have our working modes here on the left side. We have our home page where I can import, again, DXF files, so it makes it compatible with all file systems. So if you're receiving files from external people, you can import a DXF file. Or a 2DY file, again, from the Morgan system. I can import my shirt model, confirm, and it's going to go to the create order page. From here, I can add my file to the order. I can select the sizes I want to nest. For example, I selected size 36, 37, and 38. From here, we have the list of all of our pieces. We can see the two different fabric types right here. And I can select all, or just select the individual piece. Again, this goes like that. Here we have all of our marker settings that we saw also in 2Design. Let me show you again so we can see it right here. These can be set up both on 2Design or Tetrix. Tetrix will apply them only to the specific marker that we are creating. So, as I said previously, we want to create a repetition. So I'm going to do 50 by 50, confirm, and you can see already I have our grid right here. On the top, we have a preview of all of our pieces and all of the sizes that I've selected with the matching colors. So what I'll do, I want to also create fusion blocks because, as we saw before, I want some pieces to be to go through the fusion system. So you can see here that it automatically created it all for the other sizes. I'll modify the time. Perfect. Confirm. I'm going to nest all my pieces. So it's going to nest my fusion blocks first, and then it's going to start placing all of my other pieces. Okay. Perfect, so I'm going to stop it here just so we can check it out. So you can see how I placed all of my pieces on the perfect repetition, and I have my fusion blocks right here that I've generated. What we can see apart from the piece are these symbols that we have on our pieces. We have a plus sign, which recognizes the match point. The match point snaps exactly perfectly to the center of the repetition that I created, so you can see this plus sign right here. Other signs that we have is this little eye right here. This, we've defined it a checkpoint. This has been added to work with the Ply 1 cutting machine from Morgan for nesting, again, on stripes and plaids. This is going to allow me to check on the marker and on the machine if my repetition matches perfectly between the pieces that have to be sewn together. So once we created the marker, we can go ahead and export our files. From here, we have the possibility to export ISO files. So this is for the cutting machine. Again, we're going to always have a preview of what the ISO file will look like, and we have the possibility to select the specific elements I want to export. HGPL is for the plotter machine. Again, the same concept goes for the HGPL. We're going to have the possibility to select which elements we want to export. DXF can also be exported from Tetrix, we have the JPG, which is going to be a small icon of what the marker looks like. And finally, the PDF report. This contains all the information of our marker, a little preview. This is going to help out also the operator when picking up the pieces. He'll recognize the sizes, the quantities we have, what the order is, and so on. Again, this can be exported as a PDF file, printed out, and saved. So I'm going to show you a couple more nesting options. Let's load a different file. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So again, I'll select some sizes. Confirm. I'll select just the main fabric for this time. And what I want to do is I want to create a marker with placement groups. With Tetrix, we have the possibility to create automatic placement groups by selecting if I want them by bundle, by size, by fabric, by piece name, or by fabric type. In this case, we only have one, so it's going to only be one group. I'm going to select by bundle, confirm, and I'm going to allow it to nest for a second. Perfect. You can see right here how they've been divided. And again, I have the possibility also to view more elements. I'm going to activate everything so you guys can see. So you can see how we have seam lines, we have our grain axis, our groups are divided. And let me zoom in so you guys can see here. So on the top right here, we can see that it already tells me the length for each placement group. Again, this helps also with the laying of the fabrics when we want to create mattresses, for example, for multiply cutting. And again, same thing here. We can export our files and create either an ISO file, HGPL, JPEG, or PDF. So, okay, so we have more time. So I'm going to keep showing you other functions that we have. So for example, I'm going to ungroup these and show you the shading. So we have the possibility, for example, in some fabrics that have shading, for example, denim happens very often that we want to place specific pieces or specific sizes in a shaded area. So we can create this by selecting the shade area. Let's do this, 600. And then I can go ahead and select the pieces that I want to place inside of this. So I'll select all of the size 36, confirm, nest all pieces. So we're going to notice how all the pieces that are size 36 are being placed inside of the shaded area. Again, the other pieces are free to move wherever they want. So some are placing where there's available space in here, and the rest are going to be placing freely. Again, if I wanted to create one specific shade for each side, I can just go ahead and select the specific pieces. Again, from here, I also want to show you the defects. So we can go ahead here and we can manage fabric defects. So with defects, we have the possibility to select between horizontal line, vertical line, or a rectangle. To do so, I just click on plus. You can see I have defect number 1. From here, I can select which one I want. For example, horizontal line. I'll give it a width of 10 millimeters. And then an offset, let's do 700 millimeters. Confirm. And you can see right away it signals that the pieces that I previously placed are in an invalid position because this is a defected area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up all my pieces and then start the nesting again. You can see now that I've created the defect before starting the nesting, being ignored and excluded from the area. All right. So as a quick preview on the features that we like for 2Design, Tetrix, and 2Capture, I'm going to leave you guys for a couple minutes to decide if you have any questions. You can go ahead and type them in. Click on the link in the description box below, and we will be waiting for your guys' questions. Okay, we're back, so I'm going to start reading the questions that you guys put in. So the first question is 2Design fully compatible and working with standard DXF file format? Does it import and export not only HTML and AMA file? So the answer is yes, it is compatible with different DXF formats, not only AMA and ASTM, but also with DXF standards. We can also export DXF standard files with 2Design. So if I go on to the settings, right here we can see that we have import profiles that we can personalize. So directly from here we can give the specific layers and settings so that everything is read correctly. And we can export, again you can see right here, export as standard DXF files. So this makes it compatible also with other systems, for example Illustrator, if you want to add drawings or icons on the pieces. Again, for DXF, yes, and this is also good for furniture and automotive, which uses DXF standards. We always recommend exporting in blocks. This is very important because it allows us to recognize the full shape and perimeter of the actual pieces. So the other question is, in Tetrix, is it possible to export an Excel format or CSV? So with Tetrix, we can export, as you saw, we have export of ISO, HGPL, DXF, JPEG, and PDF. So these are the files that are available for Tetrix. So before with 2Design, we have CSV. This is where we can export, for example, you can see on the property table right here, how we have right here the possibility to export a CSV file. So I think we have other questions. Sorry, let me read. So the other question is if we can symmetrize a piece. So thinking about it, I'm not quite sure, so I want to introduce Morgana, our colleague. So as you can see here, we have, hi, Morgana, how can I help you? And she's going to help me out with your question. Okay. Letting her think for a minute. Perfect. So as you can see, it says to symmetrize a piece in 2Design, and it links all the steps that I have to do. I can keep Morgana open here while I work, for example, and move her around. And I'm going to go ahead and actually symmetrize a piece following her steps. So she says to go to the modify mode right here. So you can see I've selected the modify mode. I'm going to zoom out. Let's select, for example, I want to select this piece. Sorry, let me move it myself. Okay. Right here, modify. I'm going to zoom to this piece so we can see it better. And then she tells me to select the piece that I want to symmetrize. And then on the top toolbar, I'm going to find the Symmetrize Select Elements button. And once I click this, you can see how it's added a symmetry axis. So from here, I can decide whether I want to view it as closed or open. And we can select it right here. You can see how we have our symmetrized piece completely open. What's cool about symmetrized pieces on 2Design is that we can also add internal elements. So for example, let's draw a shape right here. I'm going to draw, let's say, a pocket. And it automatically gets symmetrized on the other side, so we can see that it's mirrored. But for example, if I do not want this on both sides, I can select this internal drawing and say that it's not symmetrizable. So in this case, I only have it on one side. So again, I always have the possibility to view them open or closed. And all of the symmetrical pieces will be displayed over on this side with this icon. So do we have more questions? Okay, the other question is, how can I modify notches? So again, I'm going to ask help from my friend Morgana. How can I? So again, I'm going to let her think for a minute. And let's see how we can modify notches. Again, you can see how Morgana gave me the answer. We have all of the steps that we need to see Morgana. Morgana uses artificial intelligence, so she will analyze all the information she has about 2Design, Tetrix, and put them on together to create the perfect answer to the question that I have. Okay. Okay, so another question we have is what languages are available for 2Design? Again, let's ask Morgana. Okay, so you can see how she says that 2Design is available in English, Mandarin, German, Spanish, French, Hungarian, Italian, Polish, and Russian. So again, I'm going to leave the word to Federica.
And we can stay here together. Okay. I think you enjoyed this presentation. I did very much, and Alessia, you did an incredible job. Very, very happy. So how do you like Morgana? Morgana is the scoop of today. We are using artificial intelligence in a good way. There is a lot of discussion about that, but we believe it's an opportunity, an incredible opportunity. Imagine the users having the possibility to access to a quick answer to any question they may have during the use of the software, regardless the office time, regardless the time zone. In any moment they can ask and get a professional answer. So it's a big, big help. I know there is another question about the defect, how the defect information come to the system when we do the marker in Tetrix. If they come during the spreading or before. No, ideally they should come before from the fabric inspection, and all we need to know is the dimension of the defect and the position of the defect related to the edges of the fabric and to the beginning of the marker, in case it is an isolated defect. We try to avoid making this communication during the spreading, because as you can imagine, this would stop the production. And you would need to redo the marker once the spreading has already started, which is not applicable. A different story is if we are talking about single ply cutter, ply 1. In that case, we can detect the fabric and the defect during the cutting, actually, and by importing this information, by editing this information in the onboard computer where we can install the Tetrix, then the marker can be remade in real time and continue the next of the cutting with the new position of the patterns made according to the defect. But in multiply cutting, this is obviously not possible. Okay, so I think we don't have more time. Thank you for being with us. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. Again, I think we did, especially the technical department, the R&D software made an incredible job. We did our part, and now it's your turn. Start sell, 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 sell. Okay? We now take a little break before Fabrizio will introduce you to the superstar of the day, the multiply cutter Rex. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Fabrizio Giacchetti, Morgan Technica CEO. Now we are going to present you our new baby, the new cutting machine, Rex. Beautiful, beautiful machine. Now Daniele later on will give you a demo and will give you all the details about this machine. I just want to take a few minutes to explain you why we decide to do this machine, this new machine. Okay, there was a time where when you decide to do a new product, you were looking for better performances, better quality, and possibly without increasing the cost. That was the goal. The question is, today, is that enough to be successful? The answer is no. In the last 3 years, we have learned a lot. We went through COVID, we went through the war, and we find out how weak the system it is. I give you an example. Doesn't matter how good was your company, how good was your product. Last year, almost everybody in Europe, and I guess also in the Americas, could not find any electronic components. We all find out how much we depend on China. And without the component, we could not assemble the machine and we could not deliver the machine. That was a very serious problem. Another example, again last year, shipping cost. One container from 3,000 jumped to 15,000. Apparently with no reason, but there was no escape. You have to pay. The war bring the energy cost such high that immediately was one of the main problems for many, many companies. Before, in our industry, when you were presented a cutting machine, I don't want to say that they did not care, but the energy consumption was not the main topic. Today, probably is the first question. What is the consumption of your machine? So, answering to the first question, why we decide to do Rex? We decide to do a new machine, try to overcome supply chain problems. As I said, we cannot find components. We could not find components. That was a very serious problem. Logistic cost, energy cost. Of course, to be competitive, you need to improve the performances. And then we are in the middle of a new industrial revolution in the name of sustainability. In Europe, a big package of new rules are coming, and everybody will have to follow these rules. So definitely, it will change the way to do business, it will change the way to do industry. So let's see one by one how we have approached this challenge. Supply chain problem. Well, our decision was to make a machine China-free. Zero component made in China. We were not capable to do zero, but almost. So Rex is made 80% components made in Europe, 10% made in USA, 7% made in Japan, 3% made in Taiwan, less than 1% made in China. It was not easy to do that, but now we feel so much confident for the future because no matter what happens in China, we will be able to do our own business without any problem. I believe that in the last 30 years we made China so rich, but now it's time to maybe go in another direction. As a Morgan, what we did is this small, but if everybody does this small, probably we will put the economic global situation in a good equilibrium. Next, logistic cost problem. What we did? First of all, we designed the machine to be more compact, almost 80 centimeter, no, not almost, exactly 80 centimeter shorter compared to the next two Delta, the previous model. As you know, square meter is a cost. So having a smaller machine in your factory means a saving. But most important, and I can assure you this was not easy. The machine has been designed to be split in two pieces. Why this is important? Again, going back to the example of the shipping cost. A container by sea last year, some route went from 3,000 to 15,000 everywhere. Also, the shipping by air increased, but not as much. So, is it possible to ship a cutting machine by air? Well, in one piece, it is possible, but it is difficult. Only few cargo are available to do that, and very expensive. Just to give you an example, I believe, Juan Pablo, you are connected. The machine that we are going to see actually is your machine, okay? To ship this machine by sea, it will cost maybe $3,000, $3,500. If we want to ship as a one piece, there was only one cargo every 2 weeks to Bogota, and the cost was more than $20,000. Because we are capable to divide it in two pieces, and assembling is very easy, the cable is just a plug-in, and the rest is very fast. Because our two pieces, we were able to find 4 direct flight to Medellin, 4 flight a week, direct to Medellin, with a cost of less than $9,000. This is a big plus, not only because protect us from future possible raise of the price of the ship like happened last year, but also because we are in a situation, you are in a situation to offer a fast delivery to your customer. Shipping by sea, we say 3,000 to 3,500. It takes 45 days. Shipping by air, it takes only 3 days. Yes, it's more expensive, but not crazy more. Only 5,000 to 6,000 more. I'm sure that some customers are ready to pay for it for a fast delivery. So we have also this option now. Next, energy cost problems. If you came to ITMA, probably you already see this, we already explained, but Daniele will give you more details. This machine has the 2 patents, international patents. Both are related to the power saving, and not only to the power saving, to the energy recovering. Why I say this? Because, for example, in Italy, I don't know in our country, if you invest in technology where you have a power saving, you get up to 30% incentive. But if you invest in technology where there is a recovery energy, you get incentive up to 50%. And this is the case of REX. So the first ERS basically is a very similar technology to the one that you have in your hybrid car. Every time that the motor breaks, that energy will be recovered into kind of batteries and go back. So when you have a peak of request, you will go not from the network, but you will go from the battery. In the end, your energy consumption is no longer like this, but is almost a straight line. Okay. The spin power, this is brilliant. All the cutting machine has a vacuum, okay? So there is air going in and there is air going out. And we were just thinking, all this energy of air goes waste. Why? So we design a special turbine called spin power, which is located inside the machine at the beginning of the chimney. Using the airflow, this rotate and create power. And this power goes back into the machine. Now, the power saving estimated is between 40 to 50%. But the data that we are collecting are much better. To be honest, too be good to be real. Okay, so before to disclose, we want to double check again, but it seems really impressive. Improve performances. Daniele now will give you all the details of what we have done to improve. Mainly, we have working details okay? Because devil hides in details. Details in the cutting head, details in the sharpening, the vacuum system. Plus, we have this additional patent. I try to explain the concept, but later Daniele will give you more details. Inside the marker, you may have one pattern which gives you trouble because of the shape is complicated. And if you want to cut it right, you simply have to reduce the speed. Maybe apply also some other features like increasing the RPM, increasing the vacuum, change the angle of the blade. But let's say typically you simply reduce the speed. Because of that pattern, you are forced to cut the whole marker very slow. Okay? So this gives you the possibility to identify that pattern, apply the rules only to that pattern. So in the end, you will cut the marker at the regular speed, only that pattern will be reduced. This is a big improvement. Now I give the word to Daniele. Daniele, try not to break a Juan Pablo machine because this machine is going to ship in a couple of days. Okay?
Hello everybody, I'm Daniele Gelfi, I am the showroom and pre-sales manager here in Morgan. And here today we are presenting Rex, our new machine. Fabrizio highlighted the main features, the main developments, the main upgrades. But I want to start from the smaller. Fabrizio spoke about logistics. And everybody knows what are the problems inside the logistic. Fabrizio was highlighting the economical aspect. I want to highlight another aspect that belongs to the thing that we can split the machine exactly in two parts in order, yes, to be shipped, but also in order to don't touch anything about the tuning of a machine. And this is one, it is a small thing, but if you think all the problems, all the issues, all the power that we put in order to tune the machine once in the customer place, in order to fine-tuning the blade, the sharpening, the parallel tests, all the tests that are needed to perform a quality and performance cut. If you think that with this machine we are able to dispatch, to deliver a machine that is completely tuned without removing the beam, without removing the head, or without any cabling to be done, you can understand that the one-day plugin become reality. Because here we are speaking about one machine that can easily be plugged in the customer place in one day. Because there is nothing to be sealed when we assemble the machine back. So all the details, all the tunings, all the tests, all the blade tests are kept inside the machine itself. So I started from the smaller thing, but this is in the end, one of the major points. We don't need anymore to do the fine-tuning to the machine. Let's now speak about some mechanical changes inside this project, I want to say. First of all, everybody can understand that the cutting area reduced to 1.4 meter. But why 1.4 meter? All the statistics we got, all the evaluation we did, brought us to see that the wider part, the longer parts, are more or less between 1.2 and 1.3 meters. So, in order to maintain power, but also energy, vacuum at the best level, we wanted to create a smaller tank in order to increase the efficiency of a vacuum motor. In fact, speaking about power saving, we are passing by a motor that starts from 37 kilowatt in the next series to the biggest motor in the Rex series, that is a 22 kilowatt motor. Power saving. The two levels of the motor that we will have in the 18 and in the Rex system is 18 the smaller, and 22 the bigger motor. How to maintain a good vacuum? We also changed the geometry of the fan. So inside the vacuum, the vacuum motor is working with a centrifugal fan that is creating the flow of the air. We modified the geometry of the fan in order to increase and keep and compensate better the air that the cutting phase are losing, make the material losing. So the topic was to keep, we always have to keep the exact vacuum, the exact depression in the area. The problem is when the air start to go inside the material, we have to compensate it. Changing the geometry of the fan, we are able, with less power, to compensate more air. That's why in the Rex system, we will keep only two types of vacuum motor, as I said, 18 and 22 kilowatt. Speaking about another topic about mechanical developments is that in this head we have the 20% more stroke in the vibration box. What does this mean? This means that at the same level of RPM, of revolution per minute, as the next series was giving us, with a Rex, we can cut the 20% faster. Because if you think about a point on the knife that is going up and down, here I have a stroke of 2.4 centimeter. In the next series, it was 2. In your head will come an idea. So will come the idea of vibrations, because increasing the stroke in a moving system will come vibration. So how to prevent vibration? We created a completely new vibration box that, compared to the last one, to the next series that was already keeping the vibration as the lowest possible, increasing the stroke, we could have a result of lower vibration inside the vibration box. So, reassuming, more stroke, 20% more stroke, 2.4 centimeter of stroke of the blade, less vibrations. What this gives us? Performance, quality, But as we are speaking about lower vibration, we are speaking also reliability. So less vibration, less maintenance. Let's now speak about a little bit about electronic. With Fabrizio, before, we saw an image where we saw a European machine. So this machine is powered by Bosch Rexroth electronic. So motors, servo drives, cables, CPU, everything is Bosch Rexroth. Why this decision? First of all, as Fabrizio said, to decrease, to increase the supply chain. So having parts from the other side of the world is more difficult than have the parts from Europe. Bosch Rexroth is a German company. I want to say is a European company. The 90% of this machine is a European machine. There are some parts that belongs from outside, but the main part of the machine is made in Europe. Why Bosch Rexroth? Because of the motion. You will see during the demo the motion, so the movement, the fluency of the how the movement can be smooth. But not only that, we are using a communication. We changed also communication protocol. The protocol is called the Profinet protocol, and we are communicating by IO-Link communication. And what this grants us is granting us diagnostic. Most of you will say, okay, diagnostic gives me some information about what is happening. It is giving us more, because with more diagnostic we can predict and evaluate better what can be a breakdown, what can cause a breakdown, what is happening in a power flotation when we are in customer place with the power is not correct always if there is a flotation in the power. All of this stuff can be managed with this type of diagnosis. Going ahead, now I would like to highlight what Fabrizio said about the patents. These are, first of all, international patents, and they are free. The first, the ERS, Energy Recovery System. What is that? I think that most of you have today an hybrid car. And hybrid cars are charging the battery with the braking system. So when I am decelerating or braking, the power that the motor can collect is brought inside a battery and can be used after to reaccelerate. The same thing without the kinetic part, so this energy recovery system is applied by the motor of the axis of the machine. So with Bosch Rexroth motors, we are able to keep the power during the brakes of the system and keep in a capacitor that can release the power kept in a few seconds. The capacitor are able to keep and release the power for the next accelerations. That's why Fabrizio before did one thing, did this. Today we are accelerating, decelerating, accelerating, decelerating. But if we keep the power and we use for the acceleration, we will see that we will use a power like this. So keeping the power and giving back right away for a new acceleration, we can, for sure, save power, but also recover power. Another topic, another patent is the spin power. It's, if you think at it, it's really easy. We are keeping the airflow like the windmills, let's say, but we are using a turbine. After the pump, we put the turbine that rotating is generating power. This power, thankful to a motor, is taken and brought to a UPS system, a battery, that is able to maintain and to keep awake the PC and the CPU. So in case of power failure in the customer place, power failure in when we are working, the system goes down, the motor goes down, the machine stops, but the CPU and also the PLC is kept awake. When, obviously, we are speaking about minutes, but when the power comes back, the motor can reset and kept the position and the situation when the power was going off. Not only for that, but also in the meanwhile, I'm using the power I can use right away directly in the system, even if there is not power failure. I go on the third patent, and then we start to cut. ADB, what is ADB? Is an active database where, with the knowledge of the operators, of the maintainers, of the people who is working on the machine, we can set parameters to any kind of pieces. So the system is recognizing automatically equal or similar pieces to the one that we are going to cut. So I input a marker, the marker has a lot of pieces, and the system automatically recognizes it. This database gives all the settings, all the parameters, all the starting points, the directions to the pieces that are known, and automatically the system apply all these settings to the particular pieces. Now I will start to cut in order to show you also what I'm speaking about. I'm trying to describe in the meanwhile what is happening. Let's say that the first marker are two pairs, so two sizes of denim jeans, and these are 60 plies. I want to ask you to check the cutting speed. I'm starting, give origin, align, and then cut. Okay, now I repeat, we are speaking about 60 plies of denim jeans. It is a 12-ounce denim jeans, and here you can see the cutting speed. Let's speak about the new algorithm that we built that relies on a continuous advance. So we want to keep as much as possible closer to the exiting side. We want to keep the cutting area in order to reduce as much as possible the used vacuum. As you can see, I hope that you can see from the cameras that in every moment that the machine can, he tries to come forward in order to save power. So as much as possible, a lot of time, the machine tries to to go forward. Now we will cut. This marker is a zero, like always, is a zero buffer marker. By the way, I want to highlight not only the speed, but also the algorithm that we developed in order to move as much as possible out all the pieces without losing performance. So, as you can see, the pieces are starting exiting. Inside this, let's say, technology, we can see that all the rules, everything that we did in the next series with the algorithms, with starting point, with proximity, with all what we did is already obviously inside. Fabrizio said one important thing before. Fabrizio said, in the beginning, we were only speaking about quality, about performance. But now, almost we are not speaking about them when we are presenting a machine. And we are speaking about power saving. We are speaking about reliability. We are speaking about return on energy. Let's think that all our equipment, all our machine is working with a zero buffer method. So all the marker that we are cutting are material saving. But this was already granted from the next series and next two series. Today we look something that is able to keep as much as possible the power consumption. Today we are working more or less, if we can see here, at 33 meters per minute at maximum speeds with an average acceleration. So we have an acceleration around 4 meters on square second. After, I will show you also another marker that is a jersey marker where we can see the real cutting speed. So I also want not only to speak about hard material, but also we will show how much our cutter can speed up when it is cutting soft material. In the end of this marker, I will give you numbers. Let's keep in mind that we are cutting 60 plies of hard denim jeans, so it is a 12 ounce hard material, and we will see that two sizes completed are cut in less than 6 minutes, so less than 3 minutes per pair of denim. So now the system is bringing out the material in order to help the people to collect the parts, and as we have only some parts in the end, the machine don't spoil power. So now we did the hard material. Now we want to bring inside. I will bring inside the other material. I asked to my colleague to collect the parts in order to don't spoil the parts, because for me is important. For me is important to also describe that all this material that we are using today in this demo are kept and given to let's say a company in Bergamo that is giving these parts to women that are today in jail, to help them to create a new life for them. So we are giving all these parts, and all these parts will be managed in order to create real denim jeans and real jersey shirt. The name of this company is Soroptimist from Bergamo, and they are keeping courses in order to aim to take a social reintegration for the people that is inside. So I leave some time in order to keep the pieces, so I can start with the new marker. In the meanwhile, I take also just one piece. So just to say that the thing that we were cutting before is something that goes in the proper that goes to be proper assembled. This is a pocket of a denim, and everything here is made in order to be manufactured. So that's why we put also all the information on the pieces. So now, if you keep the first part, guys, I can move ahead the material. Okay. What we will see in a few minutes now is not only speaking about let's say cutting hard material, but we will do rock and roll, and we will show how a machine can perform with soft material. As soon as my colleagues complete the first part, I can move ahead the conveyor and start with the next cutting phase. Okay, I'm doing it. Okay, I'm leaving them still some. There is Ivo that is working, my colleague that is always slow doing the stuff. I don't know. Okay, guys, just to make fun. Fortunately, Ivo was not hearing to me. Okay, he's keeping the last parts. As you can see, with our equipment, you have to have more than 3 people in the picking area, because if not, we cannot start with a new marker. Okay, let's go ahead. Now I'm bringing inside 80 plies of jersey material. This is the top part of a jersey shirt. And now okay, I shrink a little bit because it's really wide. Okay, I upload it. I give the origin. Okay, give origin. I go in a line. Okay. And rock and roll. Now I want you to have a look at the cutting speed. For sure, we are speaking about soft material, but still are 80 plies of jersey. And this material is really unstable when we are cutting in a narrow area. So if you think that we are keeping this speed all around, also in the proximities areas, you can understand how sharp is the knife and how the machine is performing. In this moment, we are performing with an acceleration of 5 meters on square seconds with a maximum cutting speed of 60 meters per minute. As you can see, now we are starting to save power. What I mean, as soon as the algorithm is able to close, to reduce the vacuum area, so where we have leakages, as soon as he is able to do it, he does, in order to reduce as much as possible the power consumption. Okay. Also in this marker we have one couple of jersey shirt. So we are working on, we are manufacturing 160 jersey shirts for women. The total, as we tested several times, this is taking 100 more or less 180, 190 seconds. So in a little bit more than 2 minutes, we are manufacturing more or less 120 jersey shirts. So this is almost finished. We let the system finish the last few pieces, and that's it. I reassume 1 second in order to complete the overall process. We spoke a lot about quality, performance. We spoke several times, and we give this as per done. Where we are going now is the power saving, power recovery. This is done. We wanted to create a machine that is able not only to create performance, to create quality, but has to be a machine that goes in the new industrial generation. We have to manufacture equipment that save power. And as Fabrizio was saying before, the government will give only support to the economy that grant this power recovery, that grant this power saving. And here we have the best machine in terms of performance, in terms of quality, and in terms of power saving in our field. So now if you have some questions, you have 2 minutes, a pair of minutes. We leave a gap in the presentation of 2 minutes in order to give a question. I will reply to your question, and then we close our presentation also with Fabrizio will come here. So you have 2 minutes to give questions. Hello, everybody. So, arrived the three questions. The first from Juan Pablo. Juan Pablo asked about the new sharpening motors. New sharpening motor, the difference is a brushless motor, a lot of more torque, and as per we have more torque, we can touch the blade in less time because we keep 10,000 RPM on the motor in order to sharpen the blade as much as possible in the less time possible. So the changes inside that motor is that from a DC motor goes to a brushless motor. The second question they ask comparing to next to Delta series in terms of performance, what is the difference? I can easily say this: keeping the same numbers, so in speed, in acceleration, the Rex series is able to give from 5 to 10% more of performance because of the algorithms that are managing the continuous cut. So the two machines side by side with the same numbers in acceleration and performance can grant from 5 to 10% more. If we think that we have also the 20% more of stroke, then you can even increase the cutting speed, because as we have a 20% more stroke, we can even increase the performance in the cutting speed. The last question was about what is the main topic that increased inside this project. And as Fabrizio was saying before, and also I highlighted before, the thing to keep the machine split in two parts. Don't have to touch the machine when you are in the customer place, and it is plug and play. This is a real plug and play machine, keeping the top quality that we are granting to the machine here when we are manufacturing. There is another, sorry, I'm reading is there some more stroke on the knife? Will be very problem more where to where the knife goes deeper. Okay, question. Due to the 20% more stroke, will be there some problem inside the bristle? The reply is no, because we tuned the complete head assembly in order to work perfectly in the 25 millimeters upper in the bristles. Also because the material of the bristle that we are using is a different type of material. By the way, the blade the stroke of the blade that is going up and down is working only on the 25 millimeters upper of the bristle. So not at all touching the bottom side, the bottom part of the bristle, because of the conveyor, the cutting surface is totally even. So now I'm giving back the word to Fabrizio, and thank you for the time spent with us.
Thank you, Daniele. Stay here. I see another question. What's the price of this machine? $500,000, for starting from $500,000. No, you don't have to worry about the price. You will be surprised. We did a very aggressive policy, but we believe you have all the tools to succeed to be successful in the market. Let me just give a clean, otherwise Juan Pablo will not buy this machine anymore, right? It's new, Juan Pablo? We use only now for this cut. It's new. Okay, I just want to tell you that whatever we have cut is going to be used to make garments which will be donated in charity to some associations in the name of sustainability. And that's it. We truly believe that we have the right tool to win in the market. You have many things to explain to the customer, starting from the energy cost, going to the logistic cost, the higher performances, I mean, the patents. We truly believe that we have the right tool to success. So thank you again. Any question, you can contact us, send mail, and see you soon. Bye.